Hey everyone, how you all doing? Good morning. Will there be anybody joining me this early? Welcome to the beginning of a new working week. My name is Bami. I'm founder of Inspired to Soar Limited. My passion and my mission is to tend the broken wings of your dreams so that you can be inspired to soar above your troubles. So I want to help you find a lifetime of fulfillment and thriving in the aftermath of trauma. So if this is your first time joining me, welcome. And if you're a returning guest, welcome too. So on this broadcast, I'm going to be continuing with my theme, Conversations with God. So going through some of the conversations I have with God about the things I go through, about maybe my perspective of what others are going through and all that stuff. So this morning, my conversation is a question. So what was all that about? And I'm asking that within the context of difficult times, within the context of horrendous situations that I cannot even begin to comprehend. But one of the things I've thought about is the fact that through the course of my new normal journey, it's that gift of perspective that I've been given. I didn't come to realize that until a long time after the aftermath of trauma, and it's still something I'm still learning, okay? One of the things I'm going to be doing now, I would read an excerpt from my book, Navigating Your New Normal, a roadmap for life fulfillment after trauma. And here is it. So it's basically like your sat-nav for a thriving life, to achieve a thriving life in the aftermath of trauma. In the notes, you will see the link, the Amazon link. Check it out and you'll see the reviews from people who've read it. And then you can see what you can learn from it. Buy it, and I promise you it will be an inspiring read. Why do I say that? Because I have personal experience of what trauma is like. Okay, so I'm now going to read an excerpt from my book, and then I'll then put this whole thing about the gift of perspective, I'll put it into context. Okay, so this is, I'm going to skip read from pages 7 and 8. Now, the chapter title is The Tidal Wave Hits. And this is a quote from me. When the tidal wave of trauma hits, your narrative is forever changed. Yeah, let's face it. When trauma hits your life, it's with the finesse of a raging bull. And it's like a raging bull in a china shop. Everything shatters. What you think you know, and everything just shatters, and you're trying to pick up the pieces. So, dealing with cancer in a happy home is devastating enough. In an abusive and dysfunctional home, the situation is just made worse. Because of my father, there was no discussion, no explanation. Just tense silence that was unlike anything we had lived through up to that point. The fear and anxiety became worse than what we had previously known. So that excerpt of my story was about when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in Nigeria. And I was 13. I was the second in a family of 5 children. And at that time, there were no explanations, no discussions or anything like that. And I'm sure some of you might be able to relate to that. Like when things start blowing apart, when trauma and trials of life blows your life apart, and you never see it coming. You don't understand, and you're asking God and you're crying out, Father God, where are you? What's going on? Everything like that. And it seems as if there are no answers. It seems as if everything is just silent. But you know what? Even though at the point of impact or in the immediate aftermath, even though it seems as if there are no answers to be had or anything like that. I want to reassure you that if you're willing to see it, that trauma comes with certain gifts. Now, I say that very, very carefully because I'm not trying to be insensitive to your trauma. I'm not trying to be insensitive to what you've gone through, because how could I even begin to imagine what you've gone through? But I can say from my own perspective of losing my mom, losing my sister to breast cancer, and being diagnosed with breast cancer myself, and being a victor of child abuse, I can say now that one of the things that cancer has given me and trauma has given me is that gift of perspective. Hello, whoever's joined me, I can't really see who you are, but thanks for joining me. It's that gift of perspective, that gift of seeing things in a different way. Because like I said, when the tidal wave of trauma hits, your narrative is forever changed. Your perspective and outlook changes completely. And for me, one of the things that changed for me was I had to reassess and readjust my priorities. Because you know what, prior to me being diagnosed with breast cancer in 2014, I used to worry and be anxious and fret about all of the wrong things. All of the things that don't really matter in the overall scheme of things. I used to worry about how I was going to go through life in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, and everything like that. When I've got enough on my plate for today. But you know what? After I was diagnosed, I just thought, you know what? Life, I've only got one shot at life. I have to reassess my priorities. And you know what? I decided that I will stop sweating the small stuff. So that's one of the gifts that trauma, cancer, you name it, has given me, that I stop sweating the small stuff. And then number 2, it's that gift of compassion. Because you know what, until I'd gone through certain things, I couldn't really empathize with certain things that people go through. I could sympathize. I could say, oh dear, oh bless, oh all that stuff, and throw out all the cliches and everything like that. But when I've gone through the fire myself, it's that gift of empathy. It's that gift of saying that even though I'm not in your shoes, I understand. I understand your tears. I understand your pain. And I want to journey along with you. So it's that gift of compassion, that gift of wanting to help alleviate another's suffering, that gift of wanting to just do something in my power to walk alongside people who are going through difficult times. And that's what has led me to this, to wanting to help you, to wanting to journey with you, and all of those things in this your new normal journey. So I'm sure you can relate. In your trauma, in the aftermath of your trauma, what is the one thing that you have learned? Because here's the thing, everybody's experience of trauma is different. Because even people who have similar diagnosis, so let's look at breast cancer, for example, because that was what I was diagnosed with. Even people who are diagnosed with the same stage 1 breast cancer, their journeys will still be different. Their perspective will be different. Their outlook will be different. And therefore, the lessons that each will take, will learn, will be different. So I want us to learn from one another. What lessons, what's the one thing that you have learned or that you are learning in the aftermath of your trauma? What is the one thing that you can share with others, that you can bequeath others with, that you can encourage someone else with, that you can inspire someone with? And let's learn from one another. Because at the end of the day, I dare say that in going through the journey that you have gone through, I don't believe that your journey is a waste. Because I believe that everything happens for a reason. Those reasons I'm not God, so I don't know. I cannot really tell you. But I dare say that you can see that there is a purpose. There is a purpose in your journey. There is a purpose in what you're going through. For me, that purpose is to help you to thrive. That purpose is to help you get out of a robotic existence, a lifetime of drudgery. That purpose for me is to encourage and is to inspire you that, you know what, these things, even though these things have happened to you and you don't understand why, and you're thinking, sometimes you want, a lot of times you shout at God that, what was that all about? Why did that happen? And it seems as if everything is just silent. But there is a purpose. There is a journey that you will go through. And there's somebody out there that you can inspire. Once you've come out on the other side, or even in your journey, there is somebody out there who you can encourage. Because in the aftermath of trauma and everything, you are, as you come out of it, you are that much further along than someone who is 2 days behind, or 1 week behind, or a year or a few years behind, who's going to be walking that a similar journey. And you are in a position to tell them that, okay, you know what, I don't have all the answers, but here's what I found. Here's what I learned in the weeks, in the months, and in the years after my own trauma hit. And here's the perspective I can share. Here's the companionship I can give you. It's not about smart answers, because nobody has smart answers. Nobody has quote and unquote white sayings or whatever like that. But it's about that compassion. It's about kindness. It's about understanding. Yes, that's the word. The ability to understand another. To, without words, to be able to hold another's hand and say, I understand. I don't know all the answers, but I understand. And things will get better. It wouldn't be the same as what you had before, but it will not be the same. It will not be as hellish as what you're going through now. I know that's the wrong word for me to use, but I can't think of anything else. But that it wouldn't be as hellish, it wouldn't be as horrendous as right now. In 2 weeks' time, in 3 weeks' time, in a month's time, in a few years' time, you'll be able to breathe easier. So I want to ask you again, what is the one thing that you have learned from your own trauma? Write it down in the comments below. Let us learn from one another, because the new normal journey is not one that should be done in isolation. It's one that should be done in community. We are a community. I will learn from you guys just as much as you will learn from me. So put the comments there below, and if you have any questions about tips for your new normal journey, type them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer. And the other thing is, if you're looking for more inspiring posts and things like that, check out my website. It's www.inspiredtosoul.co.uk. I will write it in the link when I remember. I repeat, it's www.inspiredtosoul.co.uk, and that's also on the Inspired to Soul page as well. So I hope you will go into this working week, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're working or you're not working, whether you are just going to be hanging out with family or whether you are recuperating, wherever today finds you, or whichever day you end up watching this, wherever it finds you, I want you to understand that your suffering, your trials are not in vain. There's somebody out there who you can encourage. Not right now, maybe not necessarily right now, but in months, weeks, years down the line. And I want to encourage you that gift of perspective, it will be something you'll be able to look back on and say, okay, I learned something and I'm a better person for it. Until the next time, be inspired to sow, and I will speak to you guys on Friday. Take care. Bye.